Most people are waiting for the moment that changes everything. They imagine a breakthrough, a perfect opportunity, or one powerful decision that suddenly transforms their life. But real transformation rarely arrives with noise. It begins quietly, inside ordinary mornings and simple choices. It begins when nobody is watching and nothing feels extraordinary. The life you want is not built in one spectacular day. It is built through what you choose to do on the ordinary ones. It is 5:30 in the morning. The alarm rings, but there is no dramatic battle this time. You simply open your eyes. The room is dark. The bed is warm. Outside, the world hasn't begun moving yet. You could stay there, and nobody would know. But you get up anyway. You put your feet on the floor, make the bed, and begin your morning. It feels insignificant. Yet this is how discipline becomes part of who you are. The blacksmith understood something most people never learn. Steel isn't shaped by one strike of the hammer. It takes hundreds of strikes, repeated with patience and precision. One blow changes almost nothing. Another follows, then another. Slowly, the metal begins to transform. Your life works the same way. One workout won't change your body. One book won't change your mind. One disciplined morning won't change your future. But repeated actions eventually become transformation. We often underestimate ordinary actions because they don't produce immediate results. You study today, but nothing seems different. You exercise today, but the mirror looks the same. You save money today, but your future still feels distant. You practice today, but nobody applauds. Yet something is changing beneath the surface. Every repetition is building capacity. Every disciplined choice is laying another brick. The results may be invisible today, but invisible does not mean insignificant. The dangerous mistake is believing that small actions don't matter. They matter because your identity is being formed through them. When you repeatedly do what you said you would do, you begin seeing yourself differently. You become someone who follows through, someone who can be trusted, someone who doesn't need perfect conditions to take action. Discipline stops feeling like something you force yourself to do and starts becoming something that naturally belongs to you. Look at a mountain from a distance, and the climb seems impossible. But nobody climbs a mountain in one step. They take one step, then another, then another. The same principle applies to your life. You don't need to solve everything today. You don't need to become your strongest self overnight. You only need to complete today's step. Tomorrow will bring another. Progress becomes powerful when you stop demanding that every day feel extraordinary. The forge is quiet now. There are no crowds surrounding the blacksmith, no applause when the hammer strikes the steel. There is only the fire, the anvil, and the work. Strike after strike, the metal changes. This is the lesson most people miss. Greatness is often boring while it is being built. The repetition can feel ordinary, even invisible, but stay with it long enough. And one day, people will call the result extraordinary. There will be mornings when you don't feel inspired, days when the routine feels repetitive and the progress seems invisible. This is where most people stop. They mistake the absence of excitement for the absence of progress. But discipline was never designed to entertain you. It was designed to move you forward. The strongest people are not motivated every day. They simply understand that their feelings don't get to decide whether the work gets done. Think about the person who trains for years before anyone notices. Every session looks ordinary. Every repetition seems small. Every early morning feels almost identical to the one before it. Then one day, people see the result and call it talent. They don't see the thousands of ordinary decisions that created it. They see the finished steel, not the countless strikes that shaped it. Success often looks sudden only because people never witness the repetition behind it. Your habits are quietly voting for the person you will become. Every morning you wake when you said you would. You cast one vote for discipline. Every time you choose the workout instead of the excuse, you cast another. Every page you read, every task you finish, every distraction you refuse becomes another vote. You don't need perfection. You need enough consistent votes in the right direction. Eventually, your identity begins to follow the evidence you give it. The problem is that we want proof before we commit. We want to know that the effort will work before we give it everything. But life rarely gives guarantees. The blacksmith doesn't know exactly what the steel will become when he strikes the first blow. He trusts the process. He watches, adjusts, and strikes again. Discipline requires the same patience. You continue before the results appear because you understand that the work comes before the evidence. There is power in doing something so often that it becomes normal. At first, waking early feels difficult. Then it becomes familiar. At first, exercising feels like a battle. Then it becomes part of the routine. At first, saying no to distractions feels uncomfortable. Then protecting your focus becomes natural. This is how discipline changes you. It doesn't simply make difficult actions easier. It changes the kind of person who performs them. Don't underestimate the quiet days. The days when nothing exciting happens may be the days that matter most. A spectacular day can inspire you, but an ordinary day reveals you. When there is no excitement, no audience, and no immediate reward, what do you still choose? That answer tells you more about your character than any motivational speech ever could. Your discipline becomes real when you continue even after the feeling that started it has disappeared. One day, you will look back and realize the change didn't happen where you expected. There wasn't one magical morning when everything became different. There were hundreds of ordinary mornings, hundreds of small decisions, hundreds of moments when you could have stopped but continued instead. The person you became was built quietly, almost invisibly, while you were simply doing the work. That's the secret of discipline. The ordinary was never ordinary at all. There is a moment when repetition becomes something more than routine. You stop forcing yourself to act and begin recognizing the action as part of who you are. You don't wake up thinking about whether you should keep your promises. You simply do it. You don't negotiate with every distraction. You protect your time because you understand its value. This is when discipline begins moving from something you practice into something you embody. The world may still see the same person standing in front of them, same face, same responsibilities, same ordinary life. But inside, something has changed. You have become more dependable, more patient, more willing to do difficult things without needing immediate reward. Nobody handed you this strength. You built it quietly through repetition. Every ordinary day added another layer until the person you once hoped to become started appearing in your everyday actions. Think about a river carving its way through stone. It doesn't need one powerful strike to change the mountain. It simply keeps moving. Day after day, year after year, the water returns to the same path. Eventually, the stone gives way. Your discipline works the same way. You don't need overwhelming force. You need consistency. Keep showing up. Keep moving forward. Keep making the right choice. What feels small today can become unstoppable when repeated long enough. There will still be difficult days. Discipline doesn't promise that life becomes easy. It simply makes you stronger when life becomes hard. You will still feel tired. You will still experience disappointment. You will still have moments when quitting sounds attractive, but your response will change. Instead of asking, "How do I escape this?" you begin asking, "What is the next right thing I can do?" That question can carry you through almost anything. The blacksmith finally lifts the finished steel from the forge. He doesn't celebrate the first strike or the 10th. He looks at the entire piece and sees every moment that created it. The fire, the hammer, the cooling, the repetition, the patience. None of those moments seemed extraordinary by themselves. Together, they created something strong. Your life is being shaped in exactly the same way. Every ordinary day is part of the final form. So don't wait for a better life to begin. Don't wait for motivation to return. Don't wait for the perfect Monday, the perfect year, or the perfect version of yourself. Begin with today. Do the small thing you know you should do. Then do it again tomorrow. Let the repetition become your rhythm. Let the rhythm become your habits. Let your habits become your character. And let your character become the foundation for everything you build next. The forge burns quietly as the final sparks disappear into the darkness. The hammer rests against the anvil. There is nothing spectacular about the moment, yet everything has changed. The person who entered the forge was searching for discipline. The person leaving understands something deeper. Discipline was never built in extraordinary moments. It was built in the ordinary ones, repeated until they became identity. And now the final lesson waits beyond the fire. The discipline within you is ready to be tested. Keep forging. Your story isn't finished.